Hello, I'm Teacher Robin. Welcome to another live streaming class. If this is your first time to join us, let me explain how the live classes work. Today we're going to talk about baking vocabulary plus a recipe. So if you have a question during the class, you can write your question in the comment section and I'll be checking your comments, your questions as we go along. So today we're going to learn some special vocabulary, especially if you enjoy cooking or baking. Plus you're going to get a recipe. We're going to apply this vocabulary and go through a short recipe together. Okay, so let's get started with some baking vocabulary. Okay, first, what does it mean to bake something? To bake means to cook something inside an oven. Okay, so this could be something sweet or something savory as well. For example, I love to bake pies in the wintertime. Okay, to beat. This means to add air into a mixture using a fork or an electric mixer. So you would do this with something like eggs, for example. You move it around very fast so that it becomes more liquid. So for example, beat the eggs before adding them to the mixture. Okay, another baking verb, to blend. Okay, to blend is to combine ingredients, two or more, together so that they become smooth and uniform, so that everything kind of becomes one. For example, blend the cake batter, ingredients before baking. Okay, to add in this case means to join an ingredient with the other. So for example, add sprinkles to the cupcakes when cool. So that just means to include this ingredient as well. Okay, to melt. To melt means to use heat to convert food from a solid to a liquid. So we melt something like butter, for example. You would melt butter maybe in a saucepan and then you use this as part of your frosting for your cake, for example. Okay, I see we have a few people joining us already. Fakir, Zidane, and Mustafa say hello. Thanks for watching. I hope this class is useful for you. Again, if you have any questions, don't forget to write in the comments. Okay, let's continue with our baking vocabulary. To peel, okay? To peel means to remove the rind or the skin from something, and we can do this using a knife or a vegetable peeler. Okay, for example, peel the apples for your apple pie. Normally when we're going to cook with something, we remove the skin. So we have to peel it first before we can continue with our recipe. Okay, to stir means to move a spoon around in a liquid or another substance to mix it thoroughly. For example, stir all of the ingredients together. Okay, to pour means to send a liquid from one container to another into, on, or over something. Okay, so for example, pour the chocolate sauce over the cake. Okay, so now that we've gone through some baking vocabulary, I'm going to teach you a very short recipe. So I hope you like chocolate chip cookies because that's what we're going to make today. So you're going to learn how to do this in English. So first, we need our ingredients. Okay, so I've given you the ingredients and the measurement. Okay, these are typical measurements in the United States, but you can also find the equivalent in the metric system if you want. Okay, so for example, to make chocolate chip cookies, we need 1/4 of a cup butter, 1/4 of a cup sugar, 1/4 of a cup brown sugar. Okay, so this would be white sugar and this would be brown sugar. 1 egg, 1/8 of a teaspoon vanilla extract, 1/4 of a teaspoon baking soda, a pinch of salt. So this just means what you can fit between your fingers, just a little bit of salt. 1 cup of flour, and some chocolate chips. So this is how many you want to add, depends on how much you like chocolate chips. So this is up to you, maybe just a little bit, a handful. All right, now let's go through the instructions using the vocabulary that we've just learned. Okay, so with our ingredients, first we're going to mix the butter, sugar, and brown sugar in a bowl. Okay, so you want to mix those all together. Beat the egg, so remember that's to turn something into liquid. Beat the egg and add the vanilla. Okay, so you have all this together in your bowl. Then you're going to add the salt and the baking soda and mix together. So make sure it all comes out even, and then add the flour in 2 parts and mix well. So what it means here when it says add in 2 parts is you pour half, then you mix, and then you pour the other half. That way it blends a little bit more easily. So that's what it means, mix half in 2 parts. Okay, so here's the second half of our instructions. Use a spoon and scoop the cookies onto the baking paper. So you're going to have this big mix of cookie dough. So you want to take a spoon and just have like a round size and put it the size of your spoon more or less, and you're going to put them individually onto the baking paper. So this will probably make around 10 or 12 cookies depending on how big your baking sheet is. Okay, so once you've done that, you're going to add a few chocolate chips to each one. So you have 2 options. You can either mix them together with your dough, or you can add them after. So just a few chocolate chips, and then you're going to bake the cookies at 375 degrees. So make sure that your oven says 375 for about 11 to 13 minutes until golden brown, okay? Until the cookies are done. Okay, so this is a very simple recipe using the most basic baking vocabulary that we've just learned. So I hope that you like it, and I hope that you'll use it at home if you like cookies. Now I want to hear from you in the comments. Tell me, do you enjoy baking? And if so, share your favorite recipe. So try, if there's a cake or some sort of dessert that you enjoy making or baking, then tell us the ingredients and the instructions. Tell us the recipe in the comments, okay? So as you're doing that, let me give you some information about our course here at ABBA. So if you want to improve and keep practicing your English, you can do that with us. You can use our course, which is available on both web and app version. So our course goes from beginners all the way to advanced, and it has 144 units. So each unit starts with a short film, then you learn the grammar from the film through the video class, and you do exercises to practice all of your skills, speaking, reading, writing, and listening. So it's a very complete course. If you want more information, you can visit abbaenglish.com, and you can find all of our plans that we have available there. So I encourage you to do so if you are not a student with us already. In addition to our course, we have many other resources. We're available on all of the social media networks, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. We are updating those every day, so you'll find lots of new and interesting content there, as well as our blog, our ABBA journal. There you can find articles about English for business, for travel, more grammar points, more recipes. If you enjoy cooking, we have English for cooking on there as well. So lots of good information there. Okay, let's see what questions that you have. I see one person has asked a question already. Fakir asks if there are tips to memorize vocabulary. Okay, so if you want to memorize vocabulary, I suggest doing it a little bit at a time. So for example, in our ABBA course, we have something called ABBA Moments, where you learn 10 words related to one category, like colors, animals, and you review those. So I suggest maybe 10 at a time, learn some words, and then make sure you know those, and then move on to another set of vocabulary words. Don't try to overwhelm yourself by learning 100 words at a time, because your brain is not going to retain that information. So just make some flashcards if you're a more visual learner, or maybe listen to the audio, for example. So there's lots of different ways that you can memorize vocabulary. Okay, Mustafa wants to know how to say the word evolutionary. Okay, that's a complicated word, but yeah, evolutionary. Let's see if anyone has a question related to today's topic, baking vocabulary. Okay, I think someone does. We'll just wait for a second to see what it is. Great. Fakir says his favorite recipe is biryani. Okay, yeah, that's a rice dish. That's really good. I've had that before. And Mustafa's favorite dessert is baklava. Okay, if you want to share the recipe for that in the comments, then feel free. I'm sure, well, myself and our other viewers would like to know the recipe for that. So Thanks a lot for your comments, Mustafa and Fakir. If anyone else wants to share, feel free to keep writing. Even if I don't get to your comments during the live class, I'll be checking them throughout the day. So feel free to keep writing. Let me tell you about next week's class. Next week, we are going to do a review of describing people. So this sounds pretty easy, but it's something like key adjectives that we would use when we want to describe someone. Sometimes this can be a little bit complicated, or we feel like we're using the same vocabulary over and over again. So I'm going to try to give you some more creative new words to say when you want to describe someone. So tune in next week for that class. And I want to thank everyone who has watched the live streaming class today. I hope this has been useful for you, and I hope that you will all be making chocolate chip cookies later today. I think I might do that too. So thanks again. Join us next week and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.